Hey, I know this won't game popular, but I follow where your light goes. I know it's you, nothing impossible. Connected to my armor, bro, shining like a light bulb.
BARAK YAHUAH, Hallelujah, RUMAMUYAHUAH, Yadata Yahuwah, BARAK YAHUAH. Shabbat Shalom, beloved family. All esteem to Abba Yahuwah, BARAK YAHUAH. Allah, everyone is doing well in Yahuwah, and everyone is continuing to endure in these challenging times. RUMAMUYAHUAH. We know that the enemy, he is continuing to work on his so-called plan to win. In his own mind and eyes, he is convinced that he will win the final battle. So he's getting prepared, he's getting his armies together, and at the same time, he's still out to kill, to steal, and to destroy. But we are protected by the safety, by the arms of Yahuwah, YAHUSHA, BARAK YAHUAH. So let us just continue to endure in these challenging times, no matter what's going on in our lives. Do not compromise. Put your whole trust in Yahuwah, and you will be fine. BARAK YAHUAH. So today we'll be looking at something that's really needed and important. This is something that some of us, we might have overlooked. We might have forgotten. We probably didn't understand what we were really doing, what we were really, in taking part in. And Yahuwah has brought this back to my remembrance, brought this back to my mind. And as you can see, the title says, to renounce and denounce vows, oaths, and covenants that we have made in the past, which includes marriages and immersions, baptism. Now, you might be wondering, marriages, what am I talking about? Or baptism, immersions, what am I talking about? Later on in the video, I'll give you the understanding of that so you can definitely know the difference. Because the reason why I'm going over these things is because it's quite clear based off what I've seen on Facebook, on YouTube, but mostly, different places in Yasharal. I've seen that most persons don't fully understand vows, covenants and vows that we have made. We don't truly understand what it was that we really partaked in. What were we really doing when we made these vows? Who did we make these vows to? That's the question. Who did we make these vows to? Did we make these vows and covenants and oaths to Yahuwah? Or did we make these vows, oaths, and covenants to Hashatan? When we truly understand this, that's when we will know why do we need to renounce and denounce these ways. I've seen one of the main ones, which I don't believe no one should be even questioning this. This should even be something that we should go over. This should be something that should be an urge, an impulse for us to do. Especially for those who have been in the walk now for a while. For the newcomers, I know this will be a question. I know this will be on the back of their minds, or some newcomers will ask this question. Sorry. And the question is, now that we have left religion, now we're in the truth, especially for those who are in religion. I'm talking about those in religion. Now that we are now in the truth, when I was in religion, I was already immersed, or as they would say, baptized. I was already baptized, immersed. Do I need to be immersed again now that I'm in the truth? So I know newcomers will ask this question and other stuff, and then you have persons, in the truth already that to say, no, you don't need to because you already were immersed. But I ask a question. Just as how when Akisha the Apostle Paul, he went about in the book of Acts and he asked him, what immersion were you gotten into? And they told him which immersion, John's immersion. And he said, oh, okay. Well, that does mean you have not yet gotten immersed by the Ruach HaKodesh. And they said, no. Then they got the immersion of the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, if I should ask you today, what immersion were you done in? What would you say? Would you say in the truth, in Yahuwah, Yahusha's name, or would you say in JC's name? Because when we were in religion, did we know his name? Were we using his name? I mean, especially for our pastors. Were they using his name? Were you immersed in the name of Yahuwah, Yahusha? If you weren't immersed in the name of Yahuwah, Yahusha, then whose name were you immersed in? Think about that. Barak Yahuwah. Also regarding oaths, vows, and covenants, these are things that we have made, like pledges. For example, pledges that we have made. Especially like when we were in high school, universities, colleges, we got these little Greek fraternities in the high schools, then we have the Greek fraternities in the colleges and universities. Not just colleges and universities, but also pledges like of your country. Here in Jamaica, we have the national anthem, which I had stopped doing a long time ago, renouncing the notes, because it never made any sense to me. If you guys don't know, the Jamaican anthem, start out to say, Eternal Father, bless our land and all that stuff. And I'm like, who was this written by? Did he know Yahusha's name? Was he serving Yahuwah? Which Eternal Father? Who is he talking about? Even the elites, they consider Hashatan to be their Eternal Father. He has a name. If you don't know his name, if you're not talking about Yahuwah, who are you talking about then? It's not my father, Yahuwah. Sorry, which means it has to be some other father, spiritual father. So this was something, there's more about it, which I was totally off and against about. I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense. Yahuwah gave us his prayer that we should be seeing, we should be quoting. Why are we quoting some other prayer? And it's not the national anthem of Jamaica. Makes no sense, right? Yahuwah gave us our national anthem, which is found in Matthew 6. The model prayer, that's the national anthem. If any country wants a national anthem, or wants a prayer rather as a national anthem, it should be Matthew 6. So there was something else that I had forgotten. It was not just the anthem that needed to be renounced and denounced, but also the pledge. The Jamaican pledge is, before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage and all that nonsense. I'm like, wait, before God? No, it's before Yahuwah. God is not Yahuwah. So these are things that we have to renounce and denounce. Also, for Americans, you also have to denounce your pledges. Your pledge is, I pledge allegiance to the flag. You're pledging allegiance to who? America. You're pledging allegiance to who? The beast. These are things that we have to renounce and denounce, because we're making oaths and vows and covenants to devils, to demons. When I first came in the truth, one of the second videos that I've ever watched coming into the truth that helped me, that brought me to the truth, that helped me and brought me to the truth, to understand the truth a lot better, was Yeshai's video from Watchman of Yahuwah. The second video was renouncing Christianity, renouncing the demon of God, renouncing Christianity. He did a part 2 to that teaching. Renouncing the demon of God and all that stuff. They did part 2. Renouncing Christianity is not our sister belief or something of the sort. And I really looked into it, and that's what led me to renounce JC's name, because the name JC, J-E-S-U-S, is not the name of Yahuwah, Yahusha. Why some people may think it's okay for them to not do immersions again is because people still think that that's his name. I don't know how, but you got people in the truth that still thinks his name is JC. I've seen persons still say, when they're talking and say, oh, Yahusha, that's JC in open and close brackets. I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen it on YouTube. If you go on YouTube right now and look it up, you'll see persons have YouTube videos where they put in open and close bracket JESUS, JC. On Facebook, it's the same thing. So you still got persons that do believe that's not a part of his name. I mean, look at even Ron from Truth and Identity. I mean, he was doing this at one point. It took him a long time to figure it out, because there were different persons that tried to help him, that tried to reach out. I mean, Yeshai had a conversation with him and tried to, help him, pull him in this direction. I sent him an email as well, sent a message, a few comments on his videos to let him know this. They're not the same person. Yahuwah hates that. He doesn't like us comparing him to JC. He has but one true name. His name is Yah. His name is Yah. Now, how do we get Yahuwah? How do we get Yahusha? Someone may ask, isn't that two names, Azari? No, it's not. It's one name. The Yahuwah, Yahusha, these are attributes. These are actions. These are words that are attached to his name, Yah, Yahu. Yahu means Yah adds. The Wa, the U means to add, to connect, to secure. So you have Yasha, Yahu. Yasha is a Hebrew word for deliverance. So when you say Yasha, Yahu, you're saying deliverance, Yah adds. Now, when you flip it around and say Yahusha, Yahuwah adds deliverance, or Yahuwah is deliverer, or Yah is deliverer, rather. Yah is deliverer. What does Yahuwah mean? Yahuwah means Yah adds breath. So his name is Yah. Go to Psalm 68, verse 4. You'll see that his name is Yah. Even in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, when Masha asks Yahuwah his name, when he asked the Mosai his name, when he said to him, Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, he was telling his name within that phrase, that sentence. Ahaya means I, the Yah. Ashar, strong, sharp head of man. Ahaya, I am the Yah. Go look at Ahaya again. You will see Yah's name right there in Ahaya. You will see it there. It's right there. We missed this. The first time we saw it, we missed it. Look at how it's spelled. Ahaya. Ahaya. A-H-A-Y-A-H. Now, if you should take the A-H-A out of that, you are left with Yah. Go back and read Psalm 68, verse 4. His name is what? Yah. So he has but one name, Yah. Yahuwah and Yahusha are not two separate names. It's just two separate functions. Yahuwah is where he added breath. That's what he did when he created the earth. He added life. Yahuwah means to add life, to add breath. Breath is life. The Hey, the man with the arms raised, one of the meanings for that is breath, life. So when you say Yahuwah, you're saying Yah who adds life, Yah the creator. Now when you say Yahusha, you're saying the same person, Yah. Yah who now adds deliverance. Why? Because Adam and Hua messed up. We all are in crime, so now he's adding deliverance. He has multifunctions. He's a healer. So you would say Yahu Rapha or Yahuwah Rapha, Yahu Rapha, Yah adds healing. Yah is healer. Azari Yahu, my help, Yah adds, or Yah is my help. It's not multiple names. That's why in religion, they told us this nonsense, or this is why in religion, they believe he has multiple names. If you should look this up for yourself on Google, it will tell you that that God has 72 names. He does not have 72 names, but he has titles. He has functions. He is a help. He is a guide. He is a father. He is a king. He is everything. He's a deliverer. He's a healer. He's a provider. He's our warrior, a fighter, a protector. He is everything. He is the creator. He's the conqueror. He's all these things. Does that mean he has one name? It's just like you and I today. We have multiple functions. For males, we are a son, while we are a brother at the same time. We are a nephew. We are now a father. We are a provider. We are a janitor, a butcher, a butler, a driver, whatever the case may be, whatever your occupation is. But at the end of the day, you got but one name. You don't have, not because you're a father, your name, you have a new name. You're still whatever your name is. Now that you're a driver, do you get a new name because you're a driver? No, you still have but one name. It's the same thing with Yahuwah. Not because he's a provider, he's a healer, he's a deliverer, doesn't mean that he has names for these things. As you can see, the name Yah is attached to everything. Ahaya, Yasha, Yahu, Yaram, Yahu, Yasharal, Yakob, Yahu, Ya'al, Yahu Anan, Matit Yahu, Yahusha, Yahuwah. You see, it's one name that attaches to everything Yah. Yah is attached to a lot of things. I mean, look at the words like the names for countries like Colombia. That's his name, Yah. Hallelujah. So Yah is his name. When we say Yahuwah, what are we saying? Yah adds life. Yahusha, Yah adds deliverance. That's his name. So Yahuwah does not have multiple names. He has multiple functions, attributes, or titles. So JC is not one of his names, sorry to say. You need to come out of that one way and that state of mind that Hashatan has brought you in. That's not his name. His name does not transliterate to be JC. His name transliterate from the Hebrew, which would be the pictographic letters. It names transliterate from those letters to English letter or whatever letter you use. If you use Roman letters, then it will be those in Romans. If you use Greek letters, then it will be that, but it will still be the same name. The name will not change. Translation, no. Translation gives you the meaning of the name. Yahusha means Yah adds deliverance. Yahusha is not JC. JC is not the meaning of his name. The Lord is not a meaning of his name. God is not a meaning or translation, transliteration of his name. That's a lie. And that's a deception done to us by Hashatan. So then I ask the question again. Whose name were you immersed in? Who did you make this vow to? Was it in Yah's name? Was it in Yahusha's name? Or was it in some other name? If it was not in Yahusha's name, then you did not make that vow and covenant, that promise to Yahuwah. You made it to Hashatan, which is why you would need to renounce and denounce these things. This is why Yeshai did this video, this teaching, to renounce the name JC, because it is the name of the demon of God. It is the name of the son of Zeus. It is the name of Hashatan, which is why you need to renounce it. So, Barak Yahuwah, we're at Deuteronomy 12. We're going to be looking at some of the things that Yahuwah tells us, commands us, what we are to do and what we're not to do. We're going to allow the word, Yahuwah's word, to answer this, to give more confirmation to what I'm saying, to what Yeshai said long ago. If you choose not to, then that's on you. You will have Yahuwah's judgment to face when that day comes, because you were doing things your way, which is why it says, lean not on your own understanding. But we'll get to that. So, we're at Dabarim chapter 12. Man, this is a beautiful reading. Now, in Dabarim chapter 12, in verse 7, there's something that Yahuwah told us right here. Something that Yahuwah told us, command us not to do. No. Yahuwah says we should not worship him as we did back then. But we are now to break down, get rid of, and destroy all the altars, images, and names, and rejoice in Yahuwah only. So on the topic, renouncing and denouncing, the first subtopic is do not worship Yahuwah as you did back then. No. Why would we not worship Yahuwah as we did back then? Again, as I said, we were doing things the wrong way. We were in New Age, or we were in religion, or we were in the world. We were in lies. We were in deceptions. We were in witchcraft. We were in all these things. We were performing witchcraft-like activities, rituals, and spells, and all these things. Now, do you think it's right to bring pig to Yahuwah to make as a sacrifice? Do you think it's okay, fair, and right to come to Yahuwah with these unclean, abominable ways, rituals, sacrifices, and offerings to present to Yahuwah and think that he will accept it? Yahuwah says he once winked at our ignorance, but now calls all man to repentance. You were doing things in ignorance, which he gave us another chance to repent, to humble ourselves. Now that we know, we should do better. Yahuwah says in his words, he who knows and does not do will be beaten with a lot of stripes. But he who does not know, but yet still do, which means you do something worthy of punishment, even if you don't know, you will still be punished. Now, if you go into a country where you did not know this was a law and you went against their law, because you didn't know, does that mean it's okay? Does that mean you'll be free to go and whatever? I mean, the punishment might not be severe, but yet they will still let you know this was a law, this is a crime. No, the problem is you should have known. Laws are given. You can find these laws and instructions on websites, on Google. So if you're going into a new country, you should look into their laws. Perfect example into what I'm saying. Look at the incident that happened in Saudi Arabia. His voice, and because in our own country, Americans, we would get loud, and especially females, especially black females, they would get loud and aggressive and boisterous. So because you can do this in your home, does that give you the right to go into someone else's home and behave and operate that same way? No, whoever house you go into, you need to show respect, or else don't go into that house. So going into the country, you might say, well, I didn't know it was a law. Well, you should have known because it was right there on the website, on Google. These are things that we should find out. What are laws in Saudi Arabia? What are laws in America? What are laws in Jamaica, Cuba, wherever? Why? So that we do not get into trouble. It's the same thing with Yahuwah. People will say, oh, well, I didn't know, Yah. You should have known. He has a book given with his instructions, things that we should do and not do. So that doesn't give us the right to say, all right, because I don't know, you can punish me, Yahuwah. You can punish me, Saudi Arabia. You can punish me, Jamaica. If I go to America and I break a law, can I go to court and say, oh, I'm not from here. I'm a Jamaican. I didn't know this was a law. The judge might say, okay, because it's your first offense, I'm going to give you another chance. This is what I will do, yada, yada, yada. I'll let you go. But still, it will be on my record. Now, if I should go and do that same thing again or do something else again, now the judge and I come back to court, the judge is going to say to me, well, I thought you would have learned your lesson. You did something that you did not know. Don't you believe you should find out what are our laws here in this country so that you can avoid getting into trouble? I deserve punishment. The judge might give me another chance. Does that mean I can go again and do something, whatever I want, because I don't know? No, I'm abusing the system, the situation. It's the same thing with Yahuwah. That's what people think today. Because you don't know, you can break Yahuwah's instructions or do whatever you please. And then at the day of judgment, you can say to Yahuwah, Yahuwah, I did not know this, I did not know that, I did not know that. Yahuwah says his people perish because of lack of knowledge. Did he ever says because you don't know, you won't perish? Yahuwah says he who knows and does not do and does something worthy of punishment will be beaten with a lot of stripes. But he who does not know will be beaten, but with fewer stripes. Yahuwah never said you would avoid punishment. He never said that. So these are things that we did that we should have known. We should have researched, but we didn't. We ended up using excuses. Oh, I was too busy. Oh, I was too this. I was that person as well. Yahuwah was talking to me from a long time ago. From I was a child, Yahuwah has been talking to me, telling me what to do. going into my teenage years, going into my young adult age, Yahuwah has still been talking to me. Now, because I didn't know the fire was hot, does that mean I'm not going to get burned? I didn't know if I go under the water without holding my breath, I would drown. Does that mean I'm not going to drown? I didn't know if I jump off a cliff or off a rooftop, I would break my legs, arms, neck, or lose my life. Does that mean I'm not going to break anybody apart? These are excuses because we were too comfortable, or we got too lazy, or we are just wicked. So not because you don't know doesn't mean you won't get hurt or you won't be punished. All right, you don't know that the pot is hot, the fire is hot. All right, go touch the fire and let's see what happens. Let's see if the fire will say, all right, because you didn't know, I'm not going to burn you. Let's see what happens. Go touch the fire. It's the same thing with Yahuwah. We should have known because the knowledge about fire has been given from a long time. All you need to do is research, study. The knowledge about Yahuwah, right and wrong, has been given for ages. All we had to do was research, study. But we fail to. So we can't blame the fire. We can't blame Yahuwah. The only person we can blame is ourselves. So right here in Deuteronomy 12, or Devarim 12, I'm going to read something to you guys. This might be a little lengthy today, but it is, as I said, necessary. Now, Deuteronomy 12 verse 1 reads, "These are the statutes and ordinances which you shall be watchful to do in the land which Yahuwah, your Allah, the Allah of your fathers, gives you to possess all the days you live on the earth. You shall surely destroy all the places where the nations you dispossess serve their mighty ones, their idols, upon the high mountains, on the hills, and under every green tree. You shall break down their altars and dash in places their pillars and burn their asherim with fire. You shall hew down the graven images of their mighty ones and destroy their name out of that place." This part is important. Pay attention to this. You'll see why later on. Speaking to immersions, you'll see why. "You shall not behave so towards Yahuwah your Allah, but you shall seek the place which Yahuwah your Allah shall choose out of all your tribes, to put his name and make his dwelling place, and there you shall come." This is key as well. Pay attention. You'll see why later on. "And there you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and the offering of your hands, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before Yahuwah your Allah, and you shall rejoice in all to which you put your hand, you and your household, in which Yahuwah your Allah has baruch you, or respected you. You shall not do according to all we do here in the camp this day, every man doing whatever looks right in his own eyes." This is key as well. This entire thing that we're reading is really key. Pay attention. "For you have not yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yahuwah your Allah gives you. But when you go over the Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahuwah your Allah causes you to inherit, and he gives you rest from all your enemies." Man, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Barak Yahuwah. "From all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety. Then there shall be a place which Yahuwah your Allah shall choose to cause his name and presence to dwell there. This is beautiful. To it you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, this is key, where his name and presence dwell. Pay attention. You shall bring your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and what the hand presents as a first gift from the fruits of the ground, and all your choices of offerings, which you vow to Yahuwah, which you vow to Yahuwah. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Allah, you and your sons and your daughters and your male servants and your maidservants and the Levites that is within your towns, since he has no part or inheritance with you. Be watchful not to offer your burnt offerings in every place you see, but in the place which Yahuwah shall choose in one of your tribes, there you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all I command you. Barak Yahuwah. Let's jump to Devarim 7 real quick. And let's go to verse 26. Now, Devarim 7 says, neither shall you bring an abomination, an idol, into your house, lest you become an accursed thing like it. But you shall utterly detest it and abhor it, or hate it, or destroy it. For it is an accursed thing. It will make you accursed as well. Do not bring these things into your house. This is key. Pay attention. Man, why? You may ask the question, why? Why should we not worship as we did back then? Why? Let me show you why. Let's jump to another book. Let's go to the book of Shamut. Shamut, Exodus 20, verse 5. Barak Yahuwah. Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. And it reads, you know what? Let's read verse 1. Then Allah spoke all these words. I am Yahuwah your Allah, who has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other idols, mighty ones, before or besides me. Because he is one, there is none beside him. He is not two, he is not three. If the Son was beside him, then why would he say this a long time ago? He says there is no other Redeemer beside me. So if his Son is beside him and he's the Redeemer of Yahshua, then why would he renounce and denounce and reject and disown his own Son in Isaiah? Yahuwah is Yahusha is Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. You shall not make yourself any graven image to worship it, or any likeness of anything that is in heavens above, or that is in the earth or beneath, or that is in the water or under the earth. No graven images. And I've also done a video about images, about self-idolatry, about selfies and photos, which are graven images. Go watch that video before you say anything or jump to conclusion. Go watch a video, go check it out for yourselves. Beautiful video to help you understand photos, selfies. This is why the world indulged in photos. I mean, look, why do you think they made TikTok? Why do you think they made Instagram and all these things? Instagram, TikToks, Twitter. What is the main reason for these things, especially Instagram and TikTok? To make videos, to make photos, to make selfies, to make pictures, and to do what? To put it on these places so people can like it, put heart on it, put a love on it, and all these things, and idolize and worship these images. I mean, we got social media celebrity nowadays. They call them influencers. Influencers, social media influencers. It's really deep. I mean, even Yahuwah said this when they saw him, they saw no form or image of him. They saw no form of Yahuwah. That's why up to this day, they only have an idea of what he looks like. Is here when he was on earth, when he was in his human form, when he came in the body, when he was on earth, we have an idea. But in his heavenly throne, we don't know. We won't know until the renewed earth. Until our bodies have been transformed, then we can see him face to face and see what he really looks like. But Yahuwah does not show us. Why? Because he knew our minds, we would make an image of him. I mean, look at it today. That's what they did. They made an image. They're trying to make an image of him, but instead they're making an image of a man. They made this image and say, oh, this is how the Messiah looked, worshiping. And what did we got? A European man with long curly ears and blue eyes that match not one description found in Daniel or the book of Revelation regarding how he looked. Not only that, but I mean, even the truth as well. I'm not just bashing those in the world or anything, but even the truth as well. We got people who do this. They'll create this black dude and with white hair and all this face. I mean, most of these images, it look like probably, what's the guy's name? I don't remember his name. Some images look like Denzel Washington. Some images look like some other celebrity. With this guy very angry and has fiery red eyes. And some will say that's YAHUSHA. Some will say that's YAHUSHA. That's not YAHUSHA. That's not YAHUSHA either. That's the image of some dude, of a man. So it's still wrong. And look at today's life. I mean, we don't even really fully know what Abraham looked like, Marsha looked like. I mean, with Samson and Elijah, we had a description of them because they told us how their hair looked. They told us the description of their hair. Samson had a lock here, like a dreadlock, like a Rasta, dreadlock type hair, 7 locks. Ezekiel, I believe it was, or Jeremiah, one of those prophets, they had a lock here as well. If you go back and read it, you'll see it. It gives a description. But still, we don't know fully exactly what they look like. We know these people would have had, basically different skin color, like whether black, dark red, or these different type of color, brown, but not white. They weren't white people. Nothing against white people, but it's just the lies that we were told. European is just the lies, the whitewashing, the brainwashing that we were told that this is what they look like. This is the Messiah. This is his people. The Jewish people are his chosen people and no one else. I'm just going on the lies. This is not racism or anything of that sort. I'm just telling you the truth. So every movie that we have ever watched, every photograph that we have ever seen about Marsha, about Abraham, about, when I say Marsha, Moses, about Abraham, about Elijah, John, Peter, the Messiah, every image that we have ever seen were all white European persons, all Europeans, every single images. And someone did a video regarding these images, and it shows you who they represent. These are the images and representations of the Greek mighty ones, of the Greek, the Romans. That's why their hairs look the same. I mean, if you look at the statue that they made for Zeus, I believe it's on Watchman Reports that they did a video regarding that, the images. You can go and watch that. If you look at the Greek mighty one, Zeus, if you look at all the other persons that they will show you, John, Peter, St. Paul, and all these people, they all look like Zeus. And then when we come to the movies, they use Mel Gibson and other persons, and did the Passion of Christ and all these white movies of the Messiah. They use European guys. I mean, even Mel Gibson now is coming out against Hollywood and all the lies. So why do you think they are doing that? They're trying to keep you from the lies. So I'm not presenting racists. I'm not presenting hurt. I'm not presenting hatred. I'm just presenting the truth. I'm not the one who did it in the first place. The heathens, the wicked, Hashatan was the one that lied to you in the first place. So don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate the truth. This is what it is. So these images were never to be worshipped, were never to be made in the first place. That's why you don't really have a full description of how these people look. I mean, no, it gave us a description of how he looked. We know that he would have been an albino with that red hair, very, very white, light skin and all these things. And according to the book of Enoch, we would have gotten a description about him and certain things, but we still didn't fully know what exactly they look like. We won't know until a certain time. That's when we will truly know. But why did Yahuwah not tell us? Do you know why? Because he knew, he saw our hearts. He knew that we would make these images and it will be false. And then most people would worship them. I mean, look, it's already been done. Even though Yahuwah still did not give a full description, people still use their imagination, their vain imagination, and make an image of these people and worship it. And here we are in today's society, the use of modern technology, phones, cameras, selfies, and all these things. And look at what the photos. I mean, some people, they take a photo every single day. And then they put it on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and all these places. And then you have a bunch of people liking it. 600 likes, 1,000 likes, and all these things. Oh, that photo is beautiful, and this and that, and yada, yada, yada. But deep down, they're hurting inside. You're just putting on a show. But it's really deep. Go to the video and you watch it and you learn more that I did about self-idolatry, self-worship. Verse 5. You shall not bow down yourself to them or serve them, for I, Yahuwah, your Eloah, am a jealous Al. He's a jealous, mighty one, visiting the lawlessness of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. Isaiah 42, verse 8, Isaiah 48, verse 11. Sorry. Now remember, Yahuwah says in this book, his esteem he does not give to another, nor his praises to graven images. What are we doing today? Giving his esteem to another and his praises to images. I mean, the Bible was written without images for a reason. So why do we have images today? Think about it. So anyways, this is why Yahuwah says we should not worship him as we did back then, because this way of worship, the things that we were doing were all wrong. It was all wrong. Yahuwah says, Yah is a spirit, he is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, not in the physical and in lies. Not in lies, but in truth. So if you're not worshiping Yah in truth, then you're not worshiping Yah. Because Yah is truth. If you do things in lies, then you are worshiping but one person, the devil. And I'm going to prove that with scripture. But let's move on, Barak Yahuwah. Our beloved Akisha'al, this is found in the book of Romans, Romans 12, verse 1. Our beloved Akisha'al, he tells us that we must present our bodies as a living sacrifice, Kadash, separated unto Yahuwah. And I'm going to show you why we should present our bodies and not a building or a place. But let's go there and read this. Romans 12 and verse 1 to 2. RUMAMUYAHUAH. I appeal to you, therefore, brethren, and beg of you, in view of all the mercies of Allah, to make a decisive dedication of your bodies, presenting all your members and facilities as a living sacrifice, Kadash, separated, or they say devoted, consecrated, but separated and well pleasing to Allah, which is your reasonable, rational, intelligent service and spiritual worship. Verse 2, do not be conformed to this world, this age, fashioned after and adopted to its external, superficial customs, but be transformed, changed by the entire renewal of your mind, by its new ideals and its new attitude, so that you might prove for yourself what is right and acceptable and the perfect will of Yahuwah. Even a thing which is right and acceptable and perfect in his sight for you. So what Paul is saying is that we got to unlearn what we were told so that we can relearn. So when we unlearn, we are humbling ourselves. This is what Yahuwah said in Second Chronicles verse 7, 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14. If my people that are called by my name would humble themselves, seek my face, pray, and turn from their wicked ways, then he would hear. Proverbs 28 verse 9. Because we have rejected and not given an ear to hear the Torah, Yahuwah will not hear our prayers. So now we got to do what? We got to learn the Torah, because we weren't told the Torah. We weren't taught the Torah in schools. We weren't taught the Torah growing up. We weren't taught the Torah in our communities and in our assemblies. We were taught lies. So we got to relearn. We got to unlearn. We got to go read the scriptures for ourselves. They told us that we should worship on Sunday. We got to let that go and go find out when should we worship, when is a true worship. Then when we find out, we got to do. Yahuwah says through James, we should not only be a hearer of the word, but also a doer of the word. So now we can use 2 Timothy 2 verse 15. Study to show yourself approved unto Yah. Because when we studied back then, we were showing ourselves approved unto our pastors or our governmental leaders, or whoever the case may be, your father, your mother, whoever. We were showing ourselves approved unto man and not unto the Most High Yah. So what the world says is okay, is right, Yahuwah says it's not. So now we got to dig deep. We got to find out what is right, what is pleasing to Yahuwah, and what is not. And when we find out, no, we got to do, we got to obey it. Because obedience is the highest form of worship to Yah. So if you only know the truth and don't do it, then you're not worshiping Yahuwah. You're not being obedient. You're being disobedient. You're being rebellious. And you will be beaten with stripes. You will be punished. That's what our beloved Sha'al says. Also, if we go to Hebrews, BARAK Yahuwah, book of Hebrews chapter 13, we're going to read from verse 12 to 17. Hebrews 13, RUMAMUYAHUAH. Let's start from verse 12 to 17. Now it reads, Therefore, YAHUSHA also suffered and died outside the city's gate, in order that he might purify and consecrate the people through the shedding of his own blood, and separate them as Kadash, separated for Alua. Let us then go forth from all that would prevent us to him outside the camp at Calvary, bearing the contempt and abuse and shame with him. Leviticus 16:27. For here we have no permanent city, but we are looking for the one which is to come, the new Jerusalem, or the renewed Jerusalem rather. Through him, therefore, let us constantly, at all times, offer up to Allah a sacrifice of praise, an offering, a sacrifice of praise. Not a sacrifice of animals or blood, but a sacrifice of praise, which is the fruit of our lips, that thankfully acknowledge and confess and esteem his name. Leviticus 7 verse 12, Isaiah 57 verse 9, Hosea 14 verse 2. Do not forget or neglect to do kindness and right, to be generous and distribute and contribute to the needy of the assembly as an embodiment and proof of fellowship. For such sacrifices are pleasing to Allah. Remember, Yahuwah says we should bring what? Our tithes and our offerings. Now, if you didn't watch the video regarding the widows and orphans, go back and watch that video. Because in that video, I have spoken about tithes. What is tithing and who is tithing for? Because tithing is not what we think. Some of us, we would already know tithing has nothing to do much with money. It was about food. It was about sharing. It was about giving. It was about helping the needy, helping those who didn't have it. So, And tithing was not done every paycheck, but tithing was done every 3 years. We would give. No, tithing, because our ancestors were farmers, this is what they did for a living. They were farmers. Most of them were farmers or all that stuff. So they would tithe from their farmings, from their crops. They would give to the poor, to the needy. We read this in the previous verse in Deuteronomy 12. Now, this is what Yahweh is saying. Don't forget this. This is a part of it, which people are forgetting today. So we should not forget this. I'm not saying go pay your tithes to your pastor. No, what I am saying, go help. Help someone in need. Always remember those in the body as well, especially them first. We saw this behavior in Acts 2 and Acts 4. The disciples looked out for each other. I mean, if you can't help those in your house, then how can you help those in the outside of the house? In order to help someone, if you don't get help yourself, if you don't fix yourself, how can you fix anyone else? You got to first fix yourself, then you can fix someone else. You got to first look after your home, then you can take care of those outside. So this is something that they did as well for the body and for the strangers, for the poor. Now, verse 17 and last says, obey your spiritual leaders and submit to them, continually recognizing their authority over you, for they are constantly keeping watch over your souls and guarding your spiritual welfare. As males who will have to render an account of their trust, do your part to let them do this with gladness and not with sighing and groaning, for that would not be profitable to you either. Which is so true. Spiritual leaders constantly are keeping watch over your souls and guarding. Remember, especially for watchmen. In Jeremiah 33, you can read this. Yahuwah says, if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not warn the people, then he will require the blood of the people off their hands, which the people will still be punished anyways, because if you weren't doing something wrong, then the sword would never come. So if the watchman, I as a watchman, see something and don't warn, then I will be punished as well with the people, because I know and did not do. And for that reason, I will be beaten with a lot of stripes. You will be beaten as well, but not with much stripe as I would get. So for us as leaders, this is something that we got to do constantly. Watch, look out, especially with wolves out there that are in sheep clothing. We gotta look at things that are unpleasing to Yahuwah. And when we see these things, we gotta talk up. We can't be silent, because Yahuwah will punish us a lot more than the assembly. So for spiritual leaders out there, if you see someone doing something wrong that you know they should be doing, you need to speak up. If you don't speak up, you will be severely punished. No. Also, our beloved brothers and sisters, our beloved brothers, the apostles, they made an example for us how we should live. They got immersed in YAHUSHA's name. Shouldn't we get immersed in YAHUSHA's name as well? If we saw YAHUSHA himself coming on earth to do immersion and everyone else after him in the name of YAHUSHA, shouldn't we do it the same? Think about it. Think about it. They renounced stuff. They got rid of stuff. Shouldn't we do this the same? Yahuwah said this. We should obey our spiritual leaders. They are our spiritual leaders. They went before us. They warn. They tell everyone the truth. They didn't care about hurting anyone's feeling. They care about that soul being hurt if they did not tell the truth. I mean, if you care about hurting the person's feeling, well, guess what? Something's going to be hurt. If you don't tell the truth, the person's soul is going to be hurt. If you tell the truth, the person's feeling is going to be hurt. Which one do you rather? Do you rather the person's feeling being hurt or the person's soul? I rather their feelings being hurt. Because the truth will always hurt your feelings. It will not hurt your soul. It will help your soul. It will protect your soul if you obey it. If you obey it, it will protect your soul from going to the pit. So I rather to hurt your feelings than hurt your soul, than allow your soul to be hurt. So these are the examples that they did for us, which we have to obey, which we must follow as well. Because they were righteous, so we should strive to be righteous as well. Do what they do. That's what Paul is saying. Be an imitator of him, because he's an imitator of Yahusha. This is what Peter did. This is what the apostles did. So let's follow their examples. That's simple. They got immersed. We should get immersed. They stopped worshiping idols. We should stop worshiping idols. They stopped eating unclean food. We should stop eating unclean food. It's that easy. It's that simple. Barak Yahuwah. No, the beloved said we should, our offerings are, our sacrifices are the praises of, which is the fruits of our lips, thankfully acknowledging and confessing Yahuwah and giving praise and esteem to his name. Why is that though? Why shouldn't we find our temple where Yahuwah's name dwell? Now let me tell you why. Let me show you why. Let's go back to the book of Acts. This is why we must be careful what we attach to. Now, regarding vows and covenants that we have made, pledges that we have made, we have to be careful. Why? Because we have something very important to protect. That thing that we're protecting is our body. Why? I'm going to show you why. Now, Acts chapter 7, verse 48 through to 51, it reads, no, 48 reads, however, the Most High does not dwell in houses and temples made with hands. As the prophet says, Isaiah 66, verse 1 and 2. Isaiah 66, verse 1 and 2. Yahuwah dwells not in houses and temples made with hands. Now remember, in Devarim 7:26, it says, do not bring an accursed thing into your house, lest it makes you an accursed thing as well. Don't bring an idol into your house. Now, what is this house and temple that Yahuwah dwells in now? He used to dwell in these things, but he no longer does anything. Where does Yahuwah dwell? Where has Yahuwah always wanted to dwell, as a matter of fact? From creation. Where did Yahuwah dwell from creation? Where has Yahuwah always wanted to dwell? Within us. I'm going to show you proof. Verse 49, heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. And earth is the footstool for my feet. What kind of house can you build for me, says Yahuwah? Or what is the place in which I can rest? Was not my hand that made all these things? Isaiah 66, verse 1 and 2. Now listen to verse 51. You stubborn and stiff-necked people, still heathen and uncircumcised in heart and ears, you are always actively resisting the Ruach Hadash. As your fathers were, so you are and so you do. Exodus 33, verse 3 and 5, Numbers 27, verse 14, Isaiah 63, verse 10, Jeremiah 6, verse 10, Jeremiah 9, verse 26. Yahuwah has always wanted the Ruach Hadash to dwell within us, but our ancestors have always rejected the Ruach Hadash, which is why he was in temples made with hands. And that's why Levi priests had to go before us. That's why he came, to get rid of that way. So now he can have a connection, a relationship with us. So Yahuwah dwells nowhere in our bodies, which is why we don't need to go to any building or any temples. The only reason why we would go to a building today, if we're in the same area, we will want to congregate, we will want to fellowship. Because Yahuwah says, do not forsake the assembling of the saints. We should have Kadash gatherings on the Shabbat and on the feast days. The Shabbat is a part of the 7 feast days. I'll explain more in another teaching, because there's something that we miss regarding Leviticus 23. Regarding the 7 candle menorah, the 7 feast days, there's something that we miss, and it must be addressed, it must be identified, Barak Yahuwah, so that when next year comes, you know how to do the feast days the right way. And it's regarding the Feast of Pentecost and the Feast of First Fruits. There is a misunderstanding, a misconception regarding that feast. I'll do that in another video, Barak Yahuwah, so you can understand, especially with the Shabbat as well. So, because we would want to congregate as a family, we would find an assembly. or we would go from house to house. But maybe if it's too much of us, the house would not be enough. It would not be big enough. So that's why we would get a building. But the building is not where Yahuwah dwells anymore. Yahuwah dwells in us. Why? Because man's hands did not made our bodies. Yahuwah's hands made our bodies. But these buildings were made by man's hands. So Yahuwah now dwells within us if you are immersed with the Ruach HaKodesh, that is, if you have done immersion the right way. That's how he would dwell within you. Barak Yahuwah. So this is why we got to protect our bodies. This is why we got to renounce. We got to get rid of these idols, these names out of our houses. Where is Yahuwah talking about today? Out of our bodies, out of our minds. We need to renounce and denounce. That's why Yeshai did that video. Part 1 and part 2, renouncing and denouncing Christianity and the name of JC. Because these things are idols, they are worthless, they are an abomination, they will make you a curse as well. If you still hold on and attach to the name JC, you're still holding on to an idol, to a demon, which will make you an accursed thing. And if you are an accursed thing, Yahuwah will not dwell within you. Which is why we need to be immersed again, or get immersed the right way. I'll share something regarding immersion. Barak Yahuwah. Also regarding vows and covenants and all these things that we have made in the world. We did these things in the name of JC or God, the Lord. It was never in Yahuwah's name. So we made a vow to Hashatan, not to Yahuwah, which we need to break and nullify. We need to denounce. That's why you would also, I don't know how much persons have watched Yeshai's videos or teachings, especially the ones on Facebook. Yeshai, not only did he do immersions, but what he also did was what? Marriages, renewing marriages in Yahuwah. He had also a certificate where you could do it as well, where you could do marriage the right way in Yahuwah's name, how scriptures prompts us to do it. We lead by the book of Tobit. The book of Tobit shows a perfect example of how a marriage should be done. Not how the world tells us. Jumping any brooms or lighting candles or pouring sands into glass or mala, white spice into the same glass, unity ceremonies and all these things are wrong. These things are wrong. I know people try to say it's a symbolism of oneness, and when we pour mala, white spice into the same glass, it is us coming together as one and all this. But we got to look deeper, my people. We got to look deeper. You know why? I'm going to show you why. Because the reason why we got to go deeper is because the mighty one, the mighty one of this world has blinded the minds of us. He has blinded the minds of them which do not believe. We were blinded. So most of the ways that we do, most of the things that we do are customs, are traditions, which are not pleasing to Yahuwah. Have you ever looked into the unity ceremony to see if it's truly, do you see a unity ceremony in the scriptures? Did you see anyone pouring to one couple, all right, the husband, the groom, and the bridegroom, both pouring mala, white spice into the same glass? Did you see any jumping off the brooms? Did you see any candle lighting? Did you see these things in the scriptures? So if it's not in the scriptures, where did it come from? As I said, perfect example to how a marriage should be done in Yahuwah Yahusha. Look at how we were doing it today. Normally, the male will be at the altar waiting for the groom will be at the altar waiting for the bride. That's not how scripture says. It says the bridegroom waits for the groom. We are the bridegroom waiting for Yahusha, the groom. But in today's life, we're doing things the opposite way because that's what Hashatan does. If Yahuwah says go up, he's going to tell you to go down. So if Yahuwah says the bridegroom should be waiting, the bride should be waiting on the groom, Hashatan is going to tell you the opposite. He's going to tell you that the groom should be waiting on the bride. Do you understand what I'm saying, everyone? So again, go back to the scriptures. The ways and customs that we're doing, the things that we're doing, we have been blinded. We have been influenced. We have been deceived by the mighty one of this world, which is Ashatan. There is no unity ceremony in the scriptures, no pouring white spice. And when I say white spice or mala, the Hebrew word mala, in English, it will be white spice. Now, you may be wondering, what is white spice? What is mala? I don't know what you're talking about, Azar. That which I'm talking about is S.A. Lamad T. S.A. Lamad T. The reason why I'm not saying that word is because that word is from a demon's name. That word is from the demon's name, S.A. Lamad U.S. I believe I did a video on this. If I didn't, I believe Yashai did a video on this. Don't mention it video, or if he did not, I think I did one on it, Demon of God. So you can go on the channel and check it out as well. So that word is derived from the name S.A. Lamad U.S., which is a demon, a mighty one. So because this ingredients was a very precious spice in those days, it was very precious. So the price was really high. They dedicated the name from that demon to that name, and that's how the name got changed. It was originally called white spice, or in the Hebrew tongue, it was originally rather in Hebrew called mala, and originally in English or other languages, it was originally called white spice, but they changed it to being S.A. Lamati. So nowhere in the scriptures do you see anyone pouring that into one glass, which is a ritual, it's a tradition. Pagan tradition, pagan custom, which we should not be doing. So regarding Yashai, not only did Yashai did immersions, but he also did renewings, marriages in Yahuwah, where Yahuwah made him develop this contract, this marriage contract, which we saw in the book of Tobit, that the father made and all that stuff, and they all signed, and then they did it the Hebrew way. They made their vows. The husband would pray the vow. According to Tobit, that's what we saw. The husband prayed the vow to Yahuwah. The husband made the vow to Yahuwah. Why should the husband make the vow? Now, if you understand vows, if the woman makes a vow to Yahuwah and the husband hears it, the husband can nullify the vow, which means make it void. Even though she made it to Yahuwah, the husband has the authority to nullify our wife's vow. Mayashai is going to look up the scripture real quick so I can show it to you guys. So if she makes a vow to Yahuwah, even though it's to Yahuwah, you may be wondering, but wait, is the husband above Yahuwah? No, the husband is not above Yahuwah, but the husband is above the woman. He is the head covering. He is the head authority of the woman. So it was man that was made first. Man was made first. It's man that normally talks to Yahuwah. Man that goes before Yahuwah and all the stuff, not woman. So if the woman makes a vow to Yahuwah, the husband, if he so chooses, he can later on nullify the vow. Which would mean if she should pray the vow to Yahuwah, he can then nullify the vow and they will no longer be a couple. But if the husband makes the vow, he cannot nullify it, because the only person who can nullify that vow is Yahuwah, which Yahuwah will not do. Do you see why? Do you see why? So if the husband do it, I mean, the husband can later on say, oh, I'm tired of you, or oh, I don't like you anymore, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to nullify this vow, going to nullify this marriage and walk away. If the woman did it. But if the husband does it, he can't do it. Neither can the woman nullify his vow. I'm going to show you the scripture real quick. It's Numbers, BARAK YAHUAH, Tudamayasha. Numbers chapter 30. I forgot to put this in my notes. Sorry about that. Numbers chapter 30, from verse 8 to 13. Now listen to this, everyone. You know what? I'm going to read from verse 1 down. I'm going to read from verse 1 down, everyone, so you can get a better understanding. Now listen to this. So you can understand vows and all the stuff. BARAK YAHUAH. And Marsha, verse 1. This is Numbers 30, verse 1. And Marsha, Moses, BARAK YAHUAH, I'm highlighting as I go along, so sorry about that. And Marsha said to the heads or leaders of the tribes of Yasharal, this is the thing which Yahuwah has commanded. If a man vows a vow to Yahuwah or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break. Sorry. Come on. Right here. He shall not break or profane his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. Now, note this, identify key part of this verse, because you might be saying, well, Azari, that's what I did. So how can I break the vow? It says, if you make a vow to Yahuwah, not to JC, not to God, not to Hashatan. Any vow that you make to Hashatan, it can be break. I mean, as a matter of fact, you should break it because that's his command in the Torah, Deuteronomy 12. And the old vows that you have made to these idols, mighty ones, we should break it. We should nullify it. We should denounce it. But whatever vow you should make to Yahuwah, you should not break that vow. You should keep it. Stand by your word. Also, verse 3, when a woman vows a vow to Yahuwah and binds herself by a pledge, being in her father's house in her youth, this is when she's young, she's not having a husband, because also her father would be her head covering. Samil is a woman's head covering. Whether it be her father, if she's not married, if she's still young, her father then would be her head covering. Now, if she's married, then her husband would be her head covering. Now, let's say if she's a single woman, and if she has no father, no husband, and if she has a brother in the truth, her brother would be her head covering. No brother, then her leader, her Mura would be her head covering. Then if she has none, if she has no father, no husband, no brother, no More, she's just a single woman and she's by herself, then guess what? Yahuwah places the lonelies in families. That's what I mentioned also in the video regarding the widows and orphans. Why? Because Yahuwah says it's not right for man to be alone. Hashatan loves to isolate us. Yahuwah separates us. Now, you might be wondering, what is the difference between isolation and separation? To isolate is to cause someone or a place to be alone by itself. To separate, no, it does not mean to be alone. You could be separating 10 things from one thing. Or let's put it this way, you could be separating 10 persons from one person. You could be separating 10 healthy fruit from one bad fruit, spoiled, rotten fruit. Why? Because you don't want that one spoiled, rotten fruit to make the other healthy fruit spoiled and rotten. That's what Yahuwah does with us. He separates us. He separates the righteous from the unrighteous. He does not isolate us. Don't get this wrong or twisted, everyone, because this is something as well that I see a lot of people do, isolate themselves and thinking that they can go through whatever storm by themselves. Yahuwah said this in creation when he looked at Adam. Adam was lonely. He could not go through it by himself. Yahuwah said this. He said it is not right. It is not okay. It is not pleasing to him for man to be alone. Let us make him a helpmeet. And he made Hua. Yahuwah also said to the wise man Solomon, 2 are better than 1. Here's why. I've always said this. If you are isolated, alone, by yourself, you separate yourself, not by the command of Yahuwah. I mean, if Yahuwah even isolates you, he's going to isolate you for a certain time, for a short time or whatever, for a certain period, not forever. And he's not going to also isolate you from the assembly, from gatherings, from Shabbats and all these things. Now, if Yahuwah isolates you, it's for a specific reason. But that doesn't mean you lock off, you shut down your entire family. If he separates us, not isolate us, rather. If he separates us, it is for a short while, not isolate us. So let me say that correct. If he separates us, it is for a short while and for a certain period or reason. Just like we saw with Ezra. When he separated it, well, he didn't even fully separate Ezra. Ezra wanted to seek Yahuwah. So he went away from the people for a while to seek Yahuwah on behalf of the people, not because of himself. On behalf of the people, he went to Yahuwah. And after a while, the people came back to him and they said, why are you nullifying us? Why are you forgetting us? And he says, no, I have not forgotten you. I'm seeking Yahuwah. Please go back. Don't worry. And they said to him, please don't leave us. You are the only prophets that remains. And he says, don't worry. Go back. I'll be back. And they went back home. So he let them know, I'm not separating myself. I'm not isolating myself from you guys. I'm not disappearing on you guys, but I'm just doing something right now. He let them know as well when they came seeking. Then afterwards, when he got done, when he got the answers, he came back to Yahuwah. He came back to the people because he was doing this for the people. He was not doing this for himself. And this is what happens in today's life. We isolate because we're doing it for ourselves. We are becoming selfish. We're making it all about us instead of all about Yahuwah and his people and our family, his people. We are isolating because a part of us are still selfish. And Shaitan, he knows this, and that's why he can easily isolate you. He's using what is within you. And then he goes and tries to bring scriptures to make it seem like it's okay, it's right, when it's not. And I've seen most persons to be convinced that Yahuwah is the one that isolates them. I've come across persons who are convinced that Yahuwah did this. And I can show multiple scriptures that Yahuwah would not do that. I mean, I can go back to foundation. I already did with Adam and Hua. Go back to the wise man Solomon. 2 are better than 1. Now, why is 2 better than 1? Let me show you why Yahuwah would not isolate you. Now, if you're walking by yourself and you fall into a hole, right? No one is around you. You are isolated. Who's going to pull you out of that hole? You chose to isolate yourself, or you allowed Hashatan to isolate you. You fall into a hole. Who's going to help you out of that hole? No one, because you are isolated. Now, if 2 of you are walking, you have your helpmeet, you have your brother, your sister, whoever, and you fall into the hole, now you have someone who's above the hole to help pull you out of the hole. You can't go against foundation scriptures. Yahuwah said it out of his own mouth. It is not right for man to be alone. If Yahuwah wanted to isolate us, then he would not make an helpmeet for Adam. You can't go against that. That's not my word. That's Yahuwah's word. Don't care what you have to say. I don't care what scriptures you might want to use and twist. Especially if it's going to be a scripture in a renewed covenant. Because you see, this is the thing again with people that we need to understand. We can't go against foundation. We can't go against the Torah, how Yahuwah made things, how things should have been in the first place. We can't use things in the renewed covenant that we truly don't understand, that we are misquoting or we're misinterpreting to nullify foundational scriptures. That's what they did in religion. Oh, because of some of Paul's letters, which they don't understand, they're saying, oh, that's why we have the right now to do away with the law. That's what you're doing. You're using these scriptures that you don't fully understand to do away with foundation. Can't be done. You can't do that. I don't care what scripture you may show me. Show me foundation. Show me how we should have been. Prove it to me, dear. If Yahuwah wanted us isolated, he would not make Adam a helpmeet. Show me something from creation. If you can't show me that, then that's your own interpretation. Because you're trying to find something to rightly judge your decision. Because you are too prideful or you're too stuck in your own ways that you don't want to accept the truth. That's why we do it. I did this when I was in the world. I tried to find excuses and reasons to not accept Yahuwah. Until I had to humble myself. And when I humble myself, that's when I could fully please Yahuwah and do things his way. Because it's not my will, but Yah's will be done. So, if she's in her youth and in her father's house, and listen verse 4, if her father hears her vow and her pledge with which she has bound herself and offers no objection, and he offers no objection, then all her vows shall stand, and every pledge with which she has bound herself shall stand. But If her father refuses to allow her to carry out her vow on the day that he hears about it, not any of her vows or of her pledges with which she has bound herself shall stand. And Yahuwah will forgive her because her father refused to let her carry out her purpose. So let's say you two are getting married and the woman is making a vow, but deep down the man is like refusing, objecting, and all these things. That's going to be a problem. It can be nullified and all these things. Now, verse 6. And if she is married to a husband while her vows are upon her, or she has bound herself by a rash utterance, and her husband hears of it and holds his shalom concerning it on the day that he hears it, then her vows shall stand, and her pledge with which she bound herself shall stand. But if her husband refuses to allow her to keep her vow or her pledge on the day that he hears of it, then he shall make void and annul her vow, which is upon her, and the rash utterance of her lips by which she bound herself, and Yahuwah will forgive her. But the vow of a widow or of a divorced woman with which she has bound herself shall stand against her. She's a widow, she's alone, she's alone. And if she vowed in her husband's house or bound herself by a pledge with an oath, and her husband heard it and did not oppose or prohibit her, then all her vows and every pledge with which she bound herself shall stand. But if her husband positively made them void on the day he heard them, then whatever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning her pledge of herself shall not stand. Her husband has annulled them, and Yahuwah will forgive her. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Every vow and every binding oath to humble or afflict herself, her husband might establish it, or her husband might annul it. So it all depends on the husband, if she is married or, in that case, in her father's house. So it kind of depends. So, verse 14. But if her husband altogether holds his shalom concerning the matter with her from day to day, then he establishes and confirms all her vows or all her pledges which are upon her. He establishes them because he said nothing to restrain her on the day he heard of them. But if he shall nullify them after he hears of them, then he shall be responsible for and bear her lawlessness. So even if he doesn't do it the same day and he does it after, he will be responsible for it. So which still, at the end of the day, do you see the husband still can break? Because I know you might be saying, but Azari, that's not what you said based on what this is saying in a few verses. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. If you only read one verse, then that's what you will understand. It may be contradicting to what I'm saying. But what did I do? I continued reading because it's not finished, as you can clearly see. Now, the last part of this says, now listen to this, because you might be wondering, but what if later on I want to change my mind? Are you saying I can change my mind? It will stand? Nope. You can still nullify the vow. But there is a but though. If you do that though, if you don't do it the same day and you do it sometime after, whether it be days after, a week after, months after, a year after, who knows? If you do it after, you will be responsible and bear her crimes, her transgression. You will be responsible for it. These are the statutes which Yahuwah commanded Moses between a man and his wife, and between a father and his daughter, while in her youth and in her father's house. BARAK Yahuwah. So the mighty one of this world has blinded the minds of us. We need to understand that. These ceremonies that we are performing, are they really scriptural? Are they righteous? Or really, are they pleasing to Yahuwah? There's a lot of things and customs and ways that we are doing that we don't know the origin of. I know if I should ask a lot of people right now, where did jumping the broom come from? What is the origin of jumping the broom? What is the origin of unity ceremonies? I know majority of persons cannot tell me. You might try to use scriptures to try to judge what you're saying, but you can't show me the true origin. What is the real purpose of these ceremonies? Are they really unity ceremony? Unity in what or in who? What are they trying to unify you in? Because you are already in a unity ceremony. The marriage ceremony is already a unity ceremony. Why do you need a second unity ceremony? The wedding is already the unity ceremony. Why do you need to do something else within a unity ceremony? Why do you need to have another unity ceremony within the unity ceremony? Coming together with your vows and the marriage contract and all that, and the father giving the go-ahead from the father and from Yahuwah, that's already a unity ceremony. Now, why do you need to jump a broom? Why do you need to pour mala, white spice, into a glass? Why do you need to do sands? Because some people, they don't use white spice, they will use sand. Both parties, the bride and the groom, will have a cup or a hand of sand, and they will pour it into one glass, or candles, or whatever form of unity ceremonies or whatever. Why do you need to do these things when you are already being together as one? That's what marriage is. That's what a wedding is. A wedding is a unity ceremony. So if wedding is this unity ceremony, then what truly then is jumping the broom? Why do you have to jump the broom together? Why do you have to pour sand into a glass? Which nowhere in scriptures do we see anyone doing this. Then that means this is not of Yahuwah. This is of the devil. And that means you're doing a unity ceremony in Hashatan. Think about it. All of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers. Now let's go to that scripture. That's 2 Corinthians, right here. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Let's read what it says. Then we're going to read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and Romans 1, verse 18 to 32. So let's read 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1. Therefore, since we do whole and engage in this ministry by the mercies of Allah, granted us favor, benefits, opportunities. Favor, benefits, opportunities, and especially deliverance, redemption. We do not get discouraged, spiritless, and despondent with fear, or become faint with weariness and exhaustion. We have renounced disgraceful ways, secret thoughts, feelings, desires, and underhandedness, the methods and arts that males hide through shame. We refuse to deal craftily, to practice trickery and cunning, or to adulterate or handle dishonestly the word of Yahuwah. Do you notice he says right here? We have renounced disgraceful ways. Man, I'm telling you, this is deep. But we state the truth openly, clearly, and candidly. And so we commend ourselves in the sight and presence of Allah to every man's conscience. But even if our Besorah, the glad tidings, also be hidden, obscured, and covered up with a veil that hinders the knowledge of Allah, it is hidden only to those who are perishing, and obscured only to those who are spiritually dying. and veiled only to those who are lost. Because that's why there was a veil over the temple. That's why there was a veil over the people, because they were married to Yahuwah, they were lost and all that stuff. But Yahuwah has torn that veil, removed the veil off our face, off the temple and all that stuff. We are now unveiled. We are now married to Yahuwah, Yahusha. BARAK Yahuwah. For the allure, for the mighty one, the allure of this world, the all rather, of this world has blinded the unbelievers' minds, that they should not discern the truth, preventing them from seeing the illuminating light of the Basura, of the esteem of Hamashiach, the Messiah, who is the image and likeness of Allah, who is the image and likeness of Allah. They're right, they're telling you. So that all of this world, he has blinded the mind of the unbelievers so that they cannot discern the truth, so they cannot tell right from wrong. Man. Verse 5. For what we preach is not ourselves, but Yahusha Mashiach as master, and ourselves merely as your servants, slaves, for Yahusha's sake. For Allah, who said, let light shine out of darkness, as shown in our hearts, so as to beam forth the light for the illumination of the knowledge of the majesty and esteem of Allah, as it is manifest in the person and is revealed in the face of Yahusha Mashiach, Messiah, Genesis 1, verse 3. However, we possess the precious treasures, the divine light of the Basura, in frail human vessels of earth, that the grandeur and exceeding greatness of the power might be shown to be from Allah and not from ourselves. We are edged or pressed on every side, troubled and oppressed in every way, but not cramped or crushed. We suffer embarrassments and are perplexed and unable to find our way out, but not driven to despair. We are persuaded, persecuted, and hard driven, but not deserted. We are pursued, persecuted, and hard driven, but not deserted. Not deserted, not isolated. Another word from isolate is to be deserted. We are not deserted, to be left alone, to stand alone, to not be isolated. There you go. Yahuwah does not isolate. Hashatan isolate us. Why? Because it's easier for Hashatan to conquer us. One can chase 1,000, two can put 10,000 to flight. Now, if you can only chase 1,000, you're isolated. Yahuwah did not tell you to isolate yourself. You're only chasing 1,000, but when you look, you're up against 10,000. Now, how are you going to put them to flight? We are struck down to the ground, but never struck out and destroyed. Always caring about in the body and liability and exposure to the same, putting to death that Yahusha, the Master Yahusha, suffered, so that the resurrection life of Yahusha also might be shown forth by and in our bodies. For we who live are constantly experiencing being handed over to death for Yahusha's sake, that the resurrection life of Yahusha also might be evidence through our flesh, which is liable to death. Thus, death is actively at work in us, but it is in order that our life might be actively at work in you. Yet we have the same rule, our spirit, our faith, amanah, trust, confidence, as he who wrote, I have believed, and therefore have I spoken. We too believe, and therefore we speak. Psalm 116, verse 10. Assure that he who raised up the Master Yahusha will raise us up also with Yahusha and bring us along with you into his presence. For all these things are taking place for your sake, so that the more grace, divine favor, and spiritual barakah gifts extends to more and more people, multiplies through much and more thanks, through the much and the more thanksgiving might increase, and redound to the esteem of Allah. Therefore, we do not become discouraged, utterly spiritless, exhausted, and wearied out through fear. Man, I'm telling you, fear. Though our outer man is progressively decaying and wasting away, yet our inner self is being progressively renewed day after day. For our light, momentarily affliction, this slight distress of the passing hour, is more and more abundantly preparing and producing and achieving for us an everlasting weight of esteem, beyond all measure, excessively surpassing all comparison and all calculations, a vast and transcendent esteem of respectfulness, never to cease. Final. Since we consider and look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen, for the things that are visible are temporal, brief, and fleeting, but the things that are invisible are deathless and everlasting. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Now let's jump to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. But relative to the coming of our Master Yahusha the Messiah and our gathering together to meet him, we beg you, brethren, not to allow your minds to be quickly unraveled or unsatisfied or disturbed or kept excited or alarmed, whether it be by some pretended revelation of the Spirit or by word or by letter alleged to be from us, to the effect that the day of the Master has already arrived and is here. Let no one deceive you or beguile you. And notice what did Paul say right here, alleged to be from us, which they're saying right now and they're doing right now. They're saying under grace and not under law. That's alleged to be of Paul, but it's not. It's alleged to be of Paul. So verse 3, he says, let no one deceive you or beguile you in any way, for that the day will not come except the apostasy comes first, unless the predicted great falling away of those who have professed to be believers has come, and the man of lawlessness, the man of crime, is revealed, who is the son of doom, of perdition. Daniel chapter 7 verse 25 and chapter 8 verse 25 and 1 Timothy 4 verse 1. The rule speaks expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the belief, giving in to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. That's 1 Timothy 4 verse 1. Verse 4, who opposes, listen to what he does. He opposes and exalts himself so proudly and insolently against and over all that is called Allah. So he opposes Yahuwah. This is what he is, the opposer. He opposes Yahuwah. So as I said, if Yahuwah says stay, he will tell you to go. If Yahuwah says to walk, he will tell you to stand. If Yahuwah tells you to jump, he will tell you to lay down or to sit. He always tells you the opposite of what Yahuwah is saying. This is a very key way of identifying Hashatan, when Hashatan is talking versus when Yahuwah is talking. If whatever instruction or commandment coming to you by rule is telling you to do the opposite of what the scripture is saying, then that's not Yahuwah talking. You got to search the scriptures. If you don't know the scriptures, then you will believe it's from Yahuwah. If you don't know the scriptures, then you will be convinced that Yahuwah is telling you to do this when it's not Yahuwah telling you to do it. The reason why you don't know, the reason why you're convinced is because you don't fully know the scriptures. Because the voice might tell you a scripture, but really it's telling you the opposite of what the scripture is saying. But how will you know? You have to know the scripture. You have to read it. You have to understand the line upon line, the precept upon precept. You got to understand the context of what the scripture is saying. If you don't have the context, then you will just assume this is what it's saying. It's like earlier on, what I said, that a man, a husband can nullify the vow. But when I was reading it, if you only read one verse, and you would say, no, I'm sorry, that's not what it says. This verse said this, and this verse says that. But if you read to the end of it, then you will see what I'm saying. He can't do it, but there's a consequence for doing it. It depends. If he does it the same day, he hears it, then there will be no consequence. But if he does it after, then there will be a consequence. So he still can do it. But nowhere do you see where it says a woman can do the same to a man. Why? Because a woman is not the head authority of a man. The head authority of a man is Yahuwah. So, guess what? We have made vows, we have made pledges in the world, in Hashatan. Now, with Yahuwah being our heads, he can renounce these vows, and which he have already renounced these vows from the very same day we made them. So he will not be held accountable for it. From the very same day we were making these vows in Hashatan, we were making these Greek fraternity pledges, Yahuwah was already warning us, already telling us not to do it. He was already nullifying it, but did we listen? Did we obey? No. So do you see? Nothing is wrong in renouncing and denouncing these things. I mean, Paul just said it in the scripture early on, that we renounce these things. We have to renounce these things. They are not pleasing. They are not right. If you truly want to be perfect and want to be pleasing in Yahuwah's sight, then you got to stop. You got to walk away. Turn from evil. Turn from every form of evil. You got to turn from every form of evil. No, verse 4. He opposes and exalts himself so proudly against and over all that is called Aloha, or that is worship, even to his actual, taking his seat in the temple of Aloha, proclaiming that he himself is Aloha. Ezekiel 28 verse 2, Daniel 11, 36 to 37. No, he's taking the seat in the temple of Yahuwah. No, where's the temple of Yahuwah again, everyone? We are the temple of Aloha. So he's taking a seat where, in our minds, in our hearts, where Yahuwah should be. He is. That's why we need to renounce these things, because we have made a vow to Hashatan. We have made a binding vow, a pledge, a vow to Hashatan. Renouncing the American pledge to the flag and all that stuff, because you're making a vow, a pledge to Hashatan, that you pledge allegiance to Hashatan. Same way I had to. The same way I had to renounce my pagan marriage, because that's what it was. My Ashandai, we got married before coming into the truth. Like, I think it was about 2 months before coming into the truth, before really leaving religion, which we still knew his name. We still were using his name, Yahuwah, Yahusha. We were just learning. But the pastor that got us married, that got us together, he did not know his name. Well, he knew his name, but he chose not to use it. He chose to use JC's name. And all the ways that we did it were pagan. I, the groom, was at the altar waiting on my bride to come to me, when it should have been my bride at the altar waiting on me to come to her. And we did all these vows and covenants in JC's name, putting on the wedding ring. I mean, if you look deeply into the wedding ring, I see that it's from Egyptian times, where the wedding ring is the binding serpent. That's why it's round. It represents the serpent. So we're making a binding agreement to Egyptians' mighty ones by putting on a wedding ring and all that stuff. That's why you put on the wedding ring and all this nonsense, which we don't wear these things anymore. I mean, we still wear rings, but not wedding rings. If you look, go research these things. Check it for yourself. Research wedding rings. Research the origins of wedding rings, and you will see for yourself. Am I saying all rings are wrong and all that stuff? No, that's not what I'm fully saying. But wedding rings are wrong. I'm not saying jewelry is wrong. Jewelry can be wear. Yahuwah himself gave us jewelry. Nothing's wrong in wearing an earring or chain, bracelet, and all the stuff. Yahuwah himself gave us that. Go read Ezekiel 16. You'll see it for yourself. But it's what we did with it. We made it wrong. We took it and made golden calves out of the jewelry that Yahuwah gave us. So go look up the origin of wedding rings and all the stuff. And again, you will not see wedding rings mentioned in the scriptures. You will see a wedding contract, and you will see a vow that the husband would pray to Yahuwah that cannot be broken and nullified. Cannot be broken. You cannot get a divorce out of this vow that you have made. The only way out of this vow is death. So, regarding marriages, because I know persons might be wondering, but I did make a marriage in JC, in Hashatan. Are you saying that I can be free from that marriage? I can just do a divorce? Yes, you can be free. Do a divorce the pagan way, because you did it according to the system, according to the customs of the world. So you can get a divorce, or you can denounce it and all this stuff and be separated from that person and go. Let's say you might be married to someone who doesn't want to serve Yahuwah, who wants to live wickedly and unrighteously. But because you thought a marriage was the only way out of a marriage is death, is if the person dies. And that's the way you'll be free from that marriage. And you can go on to make another marriage, because Yahuwah says, even if you take a divorce, unless the person commits adultery, that's the only way you're free. Now, if the person commits adultery, you can be free from that marriage as well. You can give them a letter of divorce. That's what Yahuwah says. Go check it for yourself. Check the Torah. Read with context. But let's say the person did not commit adultery. It's something else. And even serving mighty ones, that's a form of adultery as well. That's spiritual adultery. So let's say it's something else that it might be a case where, you know, the person's maybe doesn't love you anymore, and you can try to make things right, but the person doesn't love you because you went ahead without seeking Yahuwah and got married to this person. And you both see and know that, you know, you're not meant for each other, and you got it done the pagan way when you were in the world. Know that you're in the truth. Maybe one of you are in the truth, and maybe both of you. All right, it might be both of you that are in the truth. Then you can renounce that way and do it the right way. Do it the right way in Yahuwah. Go read the book of Tobit, where this happened with Tobit, Tobiah's daughter. That's how they got done the right way. So let's say it's a case now where you're in the truth, but your spouse is not, whether that be your husband or your wife. They don't want to serve Yahuwah. You can be free from that marriage as well. You can be free from that vow, because most of these marriages, most of us, we were, as I said, we got married outside of the truth. We got married outside of his name. So which means we're not tied to that vow. As a matter of fact, even if it's not, even if it's a case that you don't want to get a divorce from the person, still, I would still strongly advise anyone in Yahuwah, if you're a married couple in Yahuwah and you got married the pagan way, I would still strong advice to renounce and denounce that pagan way and do it the right way. I'll share in the descriptions the marriage covenant certificate for those who want, so you can get this done the right way. Yeshua did it very beautifully. So I'll upload the covenant so you can get this done, so you can download it and get it done yourself. Go read the book of Tobit, get a few witnesses with you, and then the husband will pray the Palah. I might as well do a video regarding this so you can better understand what I'm saying and how to do it the right way. So there might be a video coming later on so you can see this. So for our married couples that are in Yahuwah that have not been married in Yahuwah, if you get what I'm saying, if it's not in his name, if it's not in his name being done the right way, then you are not married in Yahuwah. The same goes for baptism, immersion. If you were not immersed in Yahuwah, Yahusha's name, you weren't immersed in the truth. You weren't immersed the right way. Now, let me share something with you when I was in Christianity that I've experienced. Now, being in Christianity, we know that we got immersed in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the H Spirit, or in the H Ghost. Or if you're from the Apostolic or the Pentecostals, they do it in the name of JC only. Now, I attended a Pentecostal service once, and the pastor there, he and I, used to talk very close, not so close, but he had a liking for me, a respect for me. And he was trying to convince me to come to his assembly because, Hashitan saw what Yahuwah was going to do through me. He's not the only pastor, but several pastors tried. So he even asked me, how did I get immersed? How did I get baptized? And I told him. And he says, do you know that you did not get baptized the right way? According to Acts 2, verse 38, Peter said that we should be immersed in the name of JC, in his name. You weren't immersed in the name, you were just immersed in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the H Spirit. But what is his name? Did you use a name? Did the pastor say the name? Or did he just say in the name of the Father? And I told him that that's what he said. And he said, well, that's not the right way. But neither is his way the right way as well. Because I'm going to show you Acts 2, verse 38 in the Sefer and how it should be. Because it's not in JC's name, it's not in Yahusha's name. In the Sefer gets this correctly, though. Now, everything the Sefer gets correctly, but they get this part correctly as well. The Sefer puts it in the name of Yahuwah Yahusha. They put a dash. So in the name of Yahuwah Yahusha, so that you can receive the Ruach HaDash, according to Matthew 28, verse 19. Because that's how Yahuwah Yahusha tells us we should be immersed. I'm going to read all these things so you can see it for yourself. So yes, you need to be re-immersed in Yahuwah. You need to be immersed the right way. Because as the pastor said to me when I was in Christianity, I did not get immersed the right way or baptized the right way, which is so true. I didn't. Even if I got it immersed in JC's name, I still would not get immersed the right way. I couldn't wait to wash off JC's name off me, off my mind, off Yahuwah's name. I couldn't wait to get re-immersed in Yahuwah Yahusha. So I don't know why it is today that people are even debating this, saying that we don't need to be immersed again once you have been immersed in JCB. I don't know why, but it just goes to show that some people are just still wicked and lazy. And remember, everyone, we still got wolves out there that are in sheep clothing. So seek Yahuwah on this matter for yourself. Is that his name? That's not his name. We already proved that. So do you think that that immersion is okay? Then think about it. Lock out the person talking to you. Think about it. Is that his name? Is JC his name? No. So is that way of doing it okay then? No. I just read the scriptures. I'm still not done though. Let's continue. No. Do not recollect that when I was... Do you not recollect that when I was still with you? I told you these things. I know you know what is restraining from him from being revealed at this time. It is so that he might be manifested, revealed in his own appointed time. For the mystery of lawlessness, that hidden principle of rebellion against constituted authority, is already at work in the world. But it is restrained only until he who restrains is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one, the anti-Mashiach, will be revealed. And the Master Yahusha will slay him with the breath of his mouth and bring him to an end by his appearing at his coming. Now, Barak Yahuwah. Something to highlight to you guys. Right here. Let me highlight this to you guys. All right, listen to this, everyone. Let no one deceive you or beguile you in any way, for that the day will not come, except the apostasy. Except the apostasy comes first, unless the predicted great falling away of those who have professed who say they are to be believers has come, and the man of lawlessness of crime is revealed, who is the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself so proudly and insolently against and over all that is called Yahuwah, or that is worshipped, even to his actual taking his seat in the temple of Yahuwah, proclaiming that he himself is Yahuwah. Do you not recollect that when I was still with you, I told you these things? Remember, this is the beloved Sha'al talking. And now you know what is restraining him from being revealed at this time. It is so that he might be manifested, revealed in his own appointed time. For the mystery of lawlessness, that hidden principle of rebellion against constituted authority, is already at work in the world. It is already at work. You can see it. This is evidently. But it is restrained only until he who restrains is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one, the anti-Messiah, will be revealed. And the Master Yahusha will slay him with the breath of his mouth and bring him to an end by his appearing at his coming. The coming of the lawless one, the anti-Messiah, is through the activity and working of Hashatan, Satan, the devil, the adversary, and will be attended by great power and with all sorts of pretended miracles and signs and elusive marvels, all of them lying wonders. So who was the one who restrained? Yahusha. And he was taken out of the way so he could be revealed. So when we look in religion, there is so much people that will say to you, well, the reason why they believe in this name and believe on this is because they can attest to so much great powers, signs and wonders and miracles that they have seen done in this name. But listen to what Paul is saying. It is a pretend miracles and signs and wonders. The elusive marvels, all of them lying wonders. It's not real. He will be revealed. That's why it's so evidently today. That's why we can so easily identify the lawless one. Not everyone, but it's easier than back then. And by unlimited seduction to evil, and with all wicked deception for those who are perishing, going to perdition, because they did not welcome the truth, but refused to love it, that they might be delivered or redeemed or rescued. Therefore, Allah, Yahuwah, sends upon them a misleading influence, a working of error, and a strong delusion to make them believe what is false. Look at religion today. In order that all might be judged and condemned who did not believe, in who refused to adhere, to trust in, and rely on the truth, but instead to pleasure in unrighteousness. This is why some people will not want to be re-immersed. This is why some people will not want to renounce and denounce, because they take pleasure in these things. So for new believers, do not listen to anyone who tells you that you don't need to be re-immersed. If you have already been baptized in JC's name, you don't need to do it again. Do not listen to them. That's a lie. Show me that in scriptures. No one can show you that in scriptures. No one can say, because there's no scripture that says because you have been baptized in JC's name, you don't need to be baptized again. That's not his name. If you were baptized, immersed in Yahusha's name, then you don't need to be immersed again. If you have already been immersed in Yahusha's name, not JC, not the Lord, not God, not Jehovah, not any other name. If you have been in Yahusha's name, not Yahweh Shai, not Yeshua, not Yahshua, not Yahushua, because these are not his names as well. His name is not Yahshua, Yeshua, Yahushua, YAHUAH'S. His name is Yahuwah, Yahusha. Yahusha means Yah as deliverance. Yahshua, Yah, Yeshua, Yahshua, Yahushua, YAHUAH'S does not mean this. You can argue all you want, say whatever you want, but it's the truth. Go look it up for yourself. Show me in the Hebrew. Show me Yeshua, Yahshua, Yahushua, YAHUAH'S in the Hebrew. And show me the Hebrew word for deliverance or redemption. And show me how do you get deliverance, Yasha, in YAHUAH'S, in Yeshua, Yahushua, or Yahshua, Yeshua. Show me that in the Hebrew. You can show me because it's not there. So that's not his name. You did not get you did not get immersed in the name that brings deliverance, in the power, in the attributes of Yahuwah that brings deliverance. So you need to. So again, if it's not Yahuwah, Yahusha's name, it's not the right immersion. People who are comfortable with their lifestyle, who don't want to do more for Yahuwah, who are wicked and lazy, will be against what I'm saying and will tell you nonsense. But think about it. Look at the scriptures again. Go back over the video if you have to. Go through the scriptures. Write down all the scriptures and then go read them for yourself and think about it. Use your common sense. Does that look right to you? Does that sound sensible or right to you? Does that sound okay to you? I mean, if that's the case, if we don't need to be re-immersed or baptized again, if we were already baptized or immersed in JC's name, then that's just like saying we don't need to leave religion then. We don't need to leave Christianity then. That's what most people are saying. If you left Christianity, why? Because it was a lie. It was false. They never gave us his name. They told us a false name because that's why we left Christianity, because they didn't give us the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They gave us wrong names and false things, false teaching, and for that reason, Yahuwah told us to leave. And we left religion, especially Christianity. Now, if you're saying that if you have already been baptized, immersed in JC's name, you don't need to, and that means you don't need to leave religion then. You don't need to leave Christianity. So why leave? So if you have left it, then that means it was false, it was wrong. So that means everything attached, well, not everything, but most things attached and associated with these lies are wrong. You should let them go. And the name JC is one of these lies. The name JC is one of these lies. Sunday worship is one of these lies. The law is done away with is one of these lies. You got to let these things go. Do away with them. So how can you think it's okay with some and it's not okay with others? The reason why you think this way is because you're still attached to the name JC. That's why you're having a hard time to let go of that name. That name still has a control of you. Or the problem is some of these persons that are saying this are agents of the devil. They're simple agents of the devil. They're just wicked. They're unrighteous. They have pleasure in it, and they are under a strong delusion. So for my new believers in Yahuwah Yahusha, in the truth, and even current believers, anyone out there telling you it's okay to be immersed in JC's name, that you don't need to be immersed again, you don't need to be baptized again, because once you were already baptized, immersed in JC's name, you don't need to do it. They are a liar. They are not of Yahuwah, and I'm going to prove it with scripture. Let's continue reading. But we, brethren, beloved by the Master, ought and are obligated as those who are in debt to give thanks always to Allah for you, because Allah chose you from the beginning as his first fruits. We are the first fruits of Yahuwah. We don't need to bring any fruits to Yahuwah. I mean, what is Yahuwah going to do with fruits? Think about it, everyone. How are you going to get the fruits into heaven? What did Paul say is the fruit? What did he say is the offering? The fruit of our lips, which is what? Praises, giving thanks, esteeming his name. So we are the first fruits to Yahuwah, first converts for redemption. through the sanctifying work of the Ruach Hadash, and your belief, your amunah, your faith, in adherence to trust in and reliance on the truth. It was to this end that he called you through our Besorah, so that you might obtain and share in the esteem of our Master Yahusha HaMashiach. So then, brethren, stand firm and hold fast to the traditions and instructions which you were taught by us, by them, the apostles, not by the Pharisees, not by man, not by world, not by religion, but by them, the apostles, the spiritual leaders. Obey them, not obey your leaders, your pastors, not obey anyone else. Obey Yahuwah. Whether by our word of mouth or by letter. No, let our Master Yahusha himself, Allah, our Father, who loved us and gave us everlasting consolation and encouragement and well-founded hope, assurance, through his grace, unmerited favor, comfort and encourage your hearts, and strengthen them, make them steadfast, and keep them unswerving in every right work and word. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Now let's jump to Romans 10 real quick. We'll be out of here real soon. As I said, sorry this will be long, but it's necessary, it's needed. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. If you want shortcut to teaching, shortcut to understand, if you are seeking shortcuts, short videos, I mean, the truth is not short. It's a lot because we have been so misled, so brainwashed that it takes time. It takes time to research. It takes time to study. It takes time to go into Yahuwah. It's not something that you can just understand or grasp overnight or within 6 months or within 1 year or within 2 years. It's something that you will continue to grow and learn into. But the problem is some persons, because they are now keeping the Shabbat, keeping feast days, and they know his name and know a little bit of truth and a little bit of Hebrew, they stop right there, think they know it all now. They stop learning, they stop growing, they stop doing, they stop seeking, they stop asking. And that's what Matthew 7 verse 7 says. He who keeps on asking will find. He who keeps on seeking, it will be revealed unto him. He who keeps on knocking, the doors will be open to him. But some persons have stopped asking, have stopped seeking, thinking that this is enough now. I know a lot. I don't need to research anymore. I don't need to go deeper. That's why today some people don't understand the deception behind the name JC. That's why some people still use pagan and false words, because you have stopped researching. You are like that person that received the 1 talent and buried the talent instead of multiplying the talent. Don't be like the one with the 1 talent. Be like the one with the 5 talent. Multiply times 5 or multiply times 2. Don't stop. Not because you know his name and that, or not because you know who you are, because I've seen some persons so do that as well, to stop right there. Because they know that they're the people of the book. That's it. They stop. They don't even know his name. They still call him JC and the Lord. But all they know is they are the true people of the book. That's it. That's not enough. You need to go deeper. There's a lot of lies that we were told for years upon years. So this is not something that we're going to figure out overnight, or we're going to figure out in 1 year. We're going to continue to figure out things that are displeasing to Yahuwah, that we're going to need to let go of. That's why we die to the flesh daily. It's a daily battle. It's not once redeemed, always redeemed nonsense. No. Always work. Always putting in the work until Yahuwah puts you to sleep. That's when you will take a rest. So, let's go to Romans, BARAK Yahuwah. Wait, the wrong place. Romans chapter 1, verse 18 through to 38. Now listen to this, everyone. For Yahuwah's wrath and indignation are revealed from heaven against all unclean or impure form and unrighteousness of mankind, who in their wickedness repress and hinder the truth and make it inoperative. For that which is known about Yahuwah or Allah is evident to them and made plain in their inner consciousness. Because Allah himself has shown it to them. For ever since the creation of the world, his invisible origin and attributes, that is, his eternal power and divinity, have been made intelligible and clearly discernible in and through the things that have been made in his handiworks. So mankind are without excuse, altogether without any defense or right ruling. As I said, if you go into a country that you break a law and you can go to the judge and say, Your Honor, I did not know. They have made their laws clear. You just didn't take the time to research it. So you have no one to blame but yourself. Some might let you off the hook with a warning to not let it happen again. So now you know you need to go research so that it doesn't happen again. So that's what Yahuwah is saying. Everything about him has been made clearly. It's easy to discern his divine powers. I mean, look at the wind. Perfect example. Can you see the wind? You can't see the wind, but because you can't see the wind, does that mean it's not real? It's not there? You can feel it, right? You can feel it. It's the same thing with Yahuwah. Not because we can see Yahuwah like his spiritual form, but we can feel him. We can see him in his creation, in his handiwork. Same way you can't see the wind and it's real, it's the same way he got to be real. Because who made the wind then? I mean, man cannot see the wind, which is clear then that man did not make the wind. That's quite proof. So even for atheists may see they don't believe in Yahuwah because they can't see him. Then that means you don't believe in the wind because you can't see it. Well, no, I can feel the wind. So, all right, you can feel the wind, but your physical mind can't see it, right? So if you can't see it, then that means man could not create it then. Man did not create it. Something else did. Who created the wind? Who created the sea? It's quite clear man did not create the sea. Man did not create trees. I mean, up until this day, man cannot make a perfect replica of any tree. They have tried with their technology, and you can still tell the difference between a man-made tree and an original tree. You can still tell the difference. I mean, even when you look at robots, they're trying their best to make robots look and feel and sound like a human. But you can still tell the difference. It doesn't matter the makeup, it doesn't matter the costume. You can still tell the difference between an actual human and something that's not an actual human. You can still tell the difference. So it's just an excuse. We just don't want to serve Yahuwah because we just want to do things our own way. So that's what Yahuwah is saying right here. You will have no excuse on the day of judgment. Verse 21. Because when they knew and recognized him as Allah, they did not honor and esteem him as Allah or give him thanks, but instead they became futile and impure, unclean in their thinking, with vain imaginings, foolish reasoning, and stupid speculations, and their senseless minds were darkened. I love this verse 22. Claiming to be wise, they became fools. Professing to be smart, they were made simpletons. They made simpletons of themselves. Just like these pastors today, these pastors, these bishops, these doctors, these people in the world, because they have their bachelor's degree, their college degree, and all this stuff. They're claiming to be wise, but they're fools. Believe in lies. I mean, believe in some things that are so silly. Believe in some things that are so silly. I mean, look at it. Believing in gravity. That this so-called magical thing is so strong and powerful that it can hold the earth down from falling off the earth. It can hold not the earth down, but it can hold buildings down. It can hold us down. But if gravity is so powerful, then why doesn't it sink a ship when it's on the sea? Why can a bird or a bees, I mean, a thing as small as an ant fly? It should hold the fly down. Nothing should be able to fly or jump. No plane, no birds, no animal. You see what I mean? And these are people that are professing to be wise because they're scientists or they're doctors and all these things. They are claiming to be wise, but really they are fools. Now, verse 23. And by them the esteem and majesty and excellence of the immortal allure exchanged for and represented by images resembling mortal man and birds and beasts and reptiles. So it's not only JC's image or YAHUSHA's image, but also birds, because remember, we got people on this earth that worship birds as an idol, or beasts as an idol, or reptiles as idols, or stone and wood and carving, these things. So it's not only mortal man, but wood that people worship, stone. Therefore, Allah gave them up in the lust of their own hearts to sexual impurity, to the dishonoring of their bodies among themselves, abandoning them to the degrading power of crime, because they exchanged the truth of Allah for a lie and worship and serve the creature rather than the creator, who is Baruch, respected forever. Amen, so be it. Jeremiah 2 verse 11, which is so true. People are worshiping the creation instead of the creator. For this reason, Allah gave them over and abandoned them to vile affections, and disregarding passions. For their females exchanged their original function for an unoriginal and abnormal one, which means they have now changed their being from being a woman to a man. And the same thing for a man. They did the same thing from being, and the males also turned from the original relations with females and were put ablaze, burning out, consumed with lust for one another. Males committing shameful acts with males and suffering in their own bodies and personalities the inevitable consequences and penalty of their wrongdoing, and going astray, which was their fitting rich retribution. And so, since they did not see fit to acknowledge Allah or approve of Him or consider Him worth the knowing, Yahuwah gave them over to a base and condemned mind to do things not proper or decent, but loathsome, until they were filled, cremated, and saturated with every kind of unrighteousness, lawlessness, and grasping, and covetous greed, and malice. They were full of envy and jealousy, murder, strife, deceit, and treachery, ill will, and cruel ways. They were secret backbiters and gossipers, slanderers, hateful to and hating Allah, full of insolence, arrogance, and boasting, inventors of new forms of evil, disobedient and undutiful to parents. They were without understanding, conscienceless, and faithless, heartless, and loveless, and merciless, conscienceless rather. Though they are fully aware of Allah or Yahuwah's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve to die, they not only do themselves be approved and applaud. All right, they not only do they themselves, but approve and applaud others who practice these evil and wicked ways. So not only do they approve themselves, but they also applaud, congratulate, support others who condone crime. So you see why us as Yahshua, us as a people, we should not condone crime, but expose it, convict it, rebuke it. I don't see why today some leaders in Yahshua don't do these things. Why do we uphold or condone crime? I guess it's just showing us who we are deep down. Anyone who condones this is just telling you who they are. Now let me prove this. Who does righteousness is righteous, but who commits crime is of the devil. Now let's go to the book of John, 1 John. Here it is, 1 John chapter 3. We're going to read from verse 1 to 10. No, verse 1 read. See what an incredible quality of love the Father has given, shown, bestowed on us, that we should be permitted to be named and called and quoted the children of Yahuwah. And so we are. The reason that the world does not know, recognize, acknowledge us is that it does not know, recognize, and acknowledge him. That's why people will not acknowledge us or recognize us, because they don't acknowledge or recognize Yahuwah. That's what this is saying. Beloved, we are even here and know Yahuwah's children. It is not yet disclosed, made clear, what we shall be hereafter. But we know that when he comes and is manifested, we as Yahuwah's children resemble and be like him, for we shall see him thus as he really is. And everyone, and we know this in Revelation chapter 22. And everyone who has this hope, assurance, resting on him, cleanses, purifies himself, thus as he is pure, chaste, undefiled, guiltless. Everyone who practices crime is guilty of lawlessness. For that is what crime is. Lawlessness, the breaking and violating of Yahuwah's instruction by transgression, or neglect, being unrestrained and unregulated by his commands and his will. You know that he appeared invisible. All right, you know that he appeared in the visible form and became man to take away upon himself crimes. And in him there is no crime, essentially and forever. So Yahuwah came in the visible form. He came in his own image, how he made us, so that he could take away crime, take it upon himself. No one who abides in him, who lives and remains in communion with and in obedience to him, deliberately, knowingly, habitually practice crime. No one who habitually commits crime has either seen or known him, recognized, perceived, or understood him, or has had experientially acquaintance with him. So what this is saying right here, if you are in Yahuwah, you will not deliberately, habitually, which means over and over, practice crime, continually break Yahuwah's word. You know that you are supposed to keep the Shabbat Kadash. You won't always break the Shabbat. You will not always break his instructions. Don't commit adultery. If you're committing adultery continually, you're breaking his commands. If you are breaking Shabbat, you're breaking his commands. If you are not keeping Yahuwah's words, then that means you are not in him. He is not in you. It's that simple. That's one of the biggest challenges why I left religion. Because I don't understand how 2 billion people on earth say they are of him, but yet not one keep his commandments. Most of them deliberately break his commandments. Some unknowingly do it. But that's the thing. If you're in Yahuwah, even if you make a mistake and do it, he will tell you not to do it. And then you will try your best not to do it again. But in religion, we kept on seeing crime after crime after crime. And no, especially with this theory, oh, we're no longer under the law, we're under grace. No, they're saying we have permission to commit crime. I've even heard Creflo Dollar to say, if you want to really experience grace and fully be involved and dive into grace, you should not keep the commandments, even the 10 commandments. I mean, come on. You should clearly see something is wrong with that. They're going to tell you that if you really want to have the full experience of grace, don't keep the commandments, even the 10 commandments. This should be right. That should be an automatic, that should be a clear sign that something is wrong. Anyone who says that or promotes that should clearly tell you that that person is not of the Most High. That's what this is saying right here. If you're in him, you will not deliberately, purposefully break his commandments. It will not be a habit to continually to break his commandment day by day. And then what do you think? On one day, you're just going to come and make things right? 6 days out of the week, you do whatever you want. Then on one day, you're just going to come and say, oh, forgive me, Yahuwah. Then the next day, you go and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. That's what pulled me away from religion. The continuance of crime, of transgression, because we're under grace. That's nonsense. Verse 7. Boys, lad, let no one deceive you and lead you astray. He who practices righteousness, who is upright, conforming to the divine will in purpose, thought, and action, living on consistently and consensuous life, is righteous, even as he is righteous. So your purpose, your thoughts, your action, your living will be in righteousness. It will not just be one day. It will be every day. It will be your thought. It will be your doing. As I said, if you even make a mistake, because you will make mistake, if you will make a mistake, you will feel sorry for it. You won't do it again. It won't be something that you'll be doing over and over and over and over. And I'm not just talking about just one problem, but I'm talking about multiple problems, multiple mistakes. Breaking the Shabbat, not keeping his name, making his name in vain, envying your neighbor. I mean, there's so much commandments that they were breaking in religion. So much. There's so much to name. Now you're in the truth, you may break a few commandments because the flesh is still at war. The flesh is still trying to get you back to that path. So you will make a few mistakes. That's why in James 5, Yahusha says, through the beloved James, confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that you might be healed. The effect of fervent prayer for righteous man availeth much. One chase 1,000, two put 10,000 to flight. Iron sharpeneth iron. Do not forsake the assembling of the saints. This is why Hashatan wants to isolate you, so that he can keep you in your own ways. Now, if you are around true brothers and sisters, they will tell you the truth. Not only tell you the truth, but they will pray for you, because then they will see your weaknesses, especially if you let them know. They will know what to pray against. So you will have strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers. But that's what the enemy doesn't want. The enemy doesn't want us to be strong. He wants us to be weak. He wants us to remain weak. And that's why he will isolate Yahuwah's people, so he can get us to be weak. Don't fall for this trick. Verse 8. But he who commits crime, who practices evil doing, is of the devil. Take his character from the evil one. For the devil has committed crime, violated the divine law or instruction from the beginning. The reason the living Allah was made manifest, visible, was to undo, destroy, loosen, and dissolve the works the devil has done. That's why Yahuwah showed up. No one born, begotten of Allah deliberately, knowingly, and habitually practices crime. For Yahuwah's origin abides in him. His principle of life and the divine sperm remains permanently within him. And he cannot practice committing crime because he is born begotten of Allah. It's going to pierce you. It's going to pick you. Your heart, you will be bothered in your conscience not to do this. You will want to stop. Now, verse 10. By this it is made clear who take their original form or their origin from Yahuwah and are his children, and who take their origin from the devil and are his children. No one who does not practice righteousness, who does not conform to Yahuwah's will in purpose, thought, and action, is of Yahuwah. Neither is anyone who does not love his brother, his fellow brother in Hamashiach. So anyone who is committing crime is not of Yahuwah. So what is understanding the breaking of the law, the Torah? Now let's go back to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 3, we're going to read from verse... You know what? We're going to read from verse 1 to 7. No, this is the first verse. My son, forget not my law or Torah or teachings, instruction, but let your heart keep my commandments. Why? For length of days and years of a life worth living, and tranquility inward and outward and continuing through an old age till death, these shall they add to you. Let not mercy and kindness, shutting out all hatred and selfishness, and truth, shutting out all deliberate two-faced pretendency or falsehood, forsake you. Bind them about your neck, write them upon the tablet of your heart. Colossians 3, 9 to 12. So shall you find favor, right understanding, and high esteem in the sight or judgment of Allah and man, or Yahuwah and man. Luke 2, verse 52. Lean on, trust in, and be confident in Yahuwah with all your heart and mind, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding. In all your ways, know, recognize, and acknowledge him, and he will direct and make straight and plain your paths. Be not wise, verse 7 and last, be not wise in your own eyes. Reverently fear and worship Yahuwah, and turn entirely away from evil. Proverbs 8:13. No, Yahuwah cannot put new wine into old wineskin. Your body, your vessel is the wineskin. The new wine is the Ruach HaKodesh, the new spirit. That's why it's called the Ruach HaKodesh, the separated spirit. When you are immersed in Christianity, in religion, in JC's name, you were immersed with an unclean spirit. No, you got to get rid of that unclean spirit and that name out of your house. That's what Yahuwah says in Deuteronomy 12. Get rid of their names out of your houses, out of the temple of Yahuwah, and also that unclean spirit. Because the H spirit or the H ghost is not the Ruach HaKodesh. I hear people say this thing a lot as well. They call the Ruach HaKodesh the H-O Lamad Y spirit, or the H-O Lamad Y ghost. It is not an H-O Lamad spirit, is not a ghost either. The Ruach HaKodesh means the separated spirit. It is separated. This is more easier to identify than all the other spirits. One clean spirit versus multiple unclean spirits. So the Ruach HaKodesh is not that. Don't call it that. It is a called out, separated spirit. So in Matthew 9, verse 17, Yahusha says, you cannot put new wine into old wineskin, lest the wineskin burst. So why do you think it's okay then for you to remain immersed, baptized in that filth, in that filthy name, in that filthy unclean spirit, in that filthy unclean belief system called religion, Christianity? Why do you think it's okay? Yahusha also says, through the beloved Sha'al, Paul, in 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17, anyone in Hamashiach is a renewed creature. All things are passed away. What is water immersion? Water immersion is a symbol, a symbolic way of dying to this world, dying to your flesh, dying to the spirit. The same way Yahusha died, went under the earth, went under the grave, and rose back up. So when you go under the water, that's you dying. And when you come back up, that's you being resurrected. That's resurrection. So when you go under the water, that's a form of going under the ground, dying. And when you come back up as a renewed, a new creature, a renewed creature. You are resurrected. That's what immersion symbolizes. death, burial, and resurrection. So Yahweh is not asking you to go kill yourself and then get someone to bury you. Then after 3 days, you're going to be risen up. No, he's just simply saying, just go to the water. That's why he did it. That's why he did it with Yahuwah now. And then and after that, everyone is doing it as well. It is a symbolism of death, burial, and resurrection in him, not in JC or anything else. Even the beloved Paul said this in Galatians 2, verse 20. I am crucified with Amashiach. You know what? Let's go there to read it real quick, then we'll be out soon. Right here, Galatians 2, verse 20. And it reads, Barak Yahuwah, I have been crucified with Amashiach. In him I have shared his crucifixion. Now, how could Paul be crucified with Amashiach when they did not kill Paul? He's talking about water immersion. It is no longer I who live, but Amashiach, the Messiah, who lives in me. And the life I know live in the body, I live by faith, confidence, assurance, amunah, by adherence to and reliance on and complete trust in the living Alua. I don't like saying the son of, because we know, the English made it seem as if Yahusha is a separate being, a separate person. So I like to say the living Alua, who loved me and gave himself for me. So you think about it. Let's go to Matthew 28, and let's see what the Messiah said out of his own mouth. Matthew 28, verse 19. It says, go then and make disciples of all the nations, immersing them into the name of Yahuwah, Yahusha, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Yes, in the English, it's going to say the Father and of the Son and of the Eighth Spirit, but we know that's not the case. This is not what was said in Hebrew. It was not written in English, but in Hebrew. So it would have said, get immersed in the name of Yahuwah, Yahusha, and the Ruach HaKodesh, teaching them to observe everything that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you all the days, perpetually, uninformally, and on every occasion, to the very close and consummation of the age. Amen. So let it be. Barak Yahuwah. So this is what Yahuwah Yahusha said out of his own mouth. Now, right here in Acts 2, verse 38, when they were pricked in their heart and they asked Peter, what should we do? He says, what shall we do? Peter answered and said, repent and be immersed, every one of you, in the name of Yahuwah Yahusha, for the remission of crimes, and you shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. So he said to be immersed in Yahuwah Yahusha. The Sefer got it correctly. It's not in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Spirit. It's not in JC's name only. It's in the name of Yahuwah Yahusha. YAHUAH'S life is YAHUAH'S deliverance. Barak Yahuwah. So, this is why we need to renounce and denounce the things that we did in the world, because they were an abomination. They were unclean things, unclean ways. They were things that did not promote Yahuwah. So this is why we had to renounce it. This is why we have to renounce it and denounce it. As I said, for those who are married in Yahuwah, who would love to know more about the marriage covenant, I'll do another video. And in that video, I'll share the contract, the marriage contract covenant, and I'll show it on the screen as well, so you know what to write, what to put on the contract. So I'll explain more in another video. And I'll show you the book of Tobit as well, so you know where to go to and how to do it. All right, everyone? Barak Yahuwah. So if you have not watched or checked out Yeshua's teaching on renouncing Christianity, renouncing the demon name of God, and renouncing Christianity, please, I advise you to go check it out. I'll share a link in the description to his video so you can find it and watch it for yourselves. Barak Yahuwah. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So again, trust in Yahuwah with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Study to show yourself approved unto Yah, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. Don't allow man to tell you what to do. Go seek the scriptures for yourself. Seek Yahuwah for yourself. Everything that I've shown you is scriptures. You can see it for yourself. And I've always said you go prove it. Go research. Prove me wrong. And it's not me that you'll be proven wrong. It's Yahuwah, which you will never prove him wrong. His words are true and his words are everlasting. So research it for yourself. If someone comes to you and say, hey, guess what? You know, Yahuwah is in Jamaica right now. Prove it. You should know the scriptures. Yahuwah says, don't let anyone come to you and tell you that he's here or there. Everyone on earth will see Yahuwah Yahusha at the exact same time. You won't need to go anywhere to see him. He will be very evident. Very. So if someone comes to you and say to you that because you were baptized in JC's name, research this. Ask Yahuwah about it. Is this correct, Yahuwah? Don't get too comfortable or don't be lazy because it's easier, because you can't bother with the hassle of trying to find someone to get you immersed and all the stuff. And seek and you shall find. Knock and it will be open unto you. Ask and it shall be given. It's that easy. Ask Yahuwah and he will make a way. He will present someone to help you with the immersion. Keep on asking. Don't stop asking until you receive. Don't stop seeking until you find. Don't stop knocking until the door is open. Continue the right fight. Fight, endure until the very last, until Yahusha takes you. Don't stop. But the choice is yours. RUMAMUYAHUAH. BARAK YAHUAH. So, all links will be in the description to YAHUSHA's video regarding these things, renouncing and denouncing. Also with the birthday one. Also with the worship by self-idolatry. It's all on the channel. So you can go on the channel and check them out. But the ones to YAHUSHA's video, I'll put in the description. Barak Yahuwah, our email address will be in the description as well. If there's a question that you would like to ask, whatever it may be that you don't want to publicly ask, you can send us an email. We will check the email. We will respond. We will get back to you. I know that you might have come across persons that you have sent messages on Facebook or on emails that took a long time to answer, or some never respond. But trust me, we do respond. At Yahuwah's chosen people, we do respond and we will respond. All right? So, if there's any questions, anything that you'd like to ask, and you don't feel comfortable to ask it on the comments, you can do so on the email. Barak Yahuwah. Also, for links to donations in the description as well. Barak Yahuwah. All esteem to Abba Yahuwah. To that to everyone again. All esteem to Abba Yahuwah. Please do remember to like, to share, because YouTube is trying its best to shadow ban this channel and the videos. I mean, videos like this are hard to find. If you should go and try to look up videos like this, it's going to take you a long time to find. So that's why by liking the videos and sharing, it will be easier for friends and family members, especially if they're unbelievers. They can find true teachings, someone who will tell the truth. That's what I had with Yeshai. That's why I promoted his channel. And that's why I will still continue to promote Yeshai's channel, the Watchman of Yahuwah, because that's where Yahuwah led me. Barak Yahuwah. So to that to everyone, thanksgiving unto everyone for the support. We greatly appreciate it. Physical support and spiritual support, financial support as well. Barak Yahuwah. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Your love is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So even now, continue to fight this wonderful fight for Yahuwah Yahusha, so that you can receive your crown of righteousness at the end of it all. Continue to endure these challenges. And remember, don't see these trials as a bad thing. Go back to James chapter 1, and Yahuwah told us that these trials are to help us, are to help our patience, our endurance, is to make our endurance a lot stronger. So in everything, give thanks, for this is the will of Yah concerning you. All right? So fight that wonderful fight for Yahuwah. Endure unto the end so you can receive your crown of righteousness. Barak Yahuwah. Even though that Yahuwah, Barakata Ushamarta, which means that Yahuwah continues to show you respect and favor and that he continue to shamar you all, which means to guard you all. Barak Yahuwah. This is Watchman Azari Yahu signing out on behalf of Yahuwah's people. Shabbat Shalom. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Barak Yahuwah.